Okay, this is Trophy Gold, the Temple of the Peerless Star, Part 2. I want to do a bit of recap, then a bit of housekeeping, and then we will get going. Recap. So you got a hot tip, basically, from a young man who is kind of on the run. And basically, you have gone to this temple because this temple, the Peerless Star, they're having a very, very rare, they've called for a very rare holy night. And so there are tons of pilgrims at the temple. And this is a good cover for getting into the temple and infiltrating it, particularly the subterranean places beneath it, in order to twofold: one, find valuable treasures, which is what you're always trying to do, and two, this dandy who I don't think we even named. Did we just keep calling him the dandy? Um, he believes his father is here somewhere in the temple, and this is important because his father is on the run from a gangster, and the dandy is being targeted by the gangster until his father turns up, and so he kind of hopes that you're able to find his father as well. I have you all on half burdens for this, rounded up, and so you have a small burden requirement to meet, but otherwise you can, whatever you grab is just go straight to Hearthfire. So apart from that, apart from your burdens, did I miss anything in the recap? It's pretty straightforward dungeon crawl we're doing. Last thing we saw, the cliffhanger was I think Ethelinda had just triggered a trap, or maybe it was Osto. It was Osto, had just triggered a trap, and so we're going to resolve that when we pick back up. Did I miss anything in the recap that's important? Okie doke. Then let's talk about housekeeping. So just the normal stuff: gold, hunt tokens, your current ruin, and any conditions you have, plus your burdens. So let's just start with Corkluck.
I am doing peachy on gold. I've got 2, which would meet my burdens, plus carrying some robes and a bottle of raisin cordial that could be sold. So I got more than enough gold. No hunt tokens, 3 ruin, and my conditions are just the ones I've been carrying around. But I feel like, wasn't there a condition of infatuated or something?
You've always had in love with Patience Davies, but I think that's it.
Yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Drew's game. That's what it is.
And your burdens are 4, which means you have to meet 2.
Yeah, so I've got like 3 golden access.
Awesome, cool. Let's go to Osto.
I have a burden of 6 and currently enough treasure to cover 5 of that. So I'm almost there. And I'm sitting on 3 hunt tokens and 3 ruin and my usual conditions plus an uneasy feeling.
But you only need half burdens, so you're well past your burdens because you only need 3. So, and that's because this is a one-night job in the city. You haven't really had to go anywhere to do this. So, Ethelinda.
So I've got 3 gold, 5 burdens. I'm inhabited. I'm haunted by the siren. And I've got some vestments being carried as well. So I might have an extra gold beyond that.
That's a thing from last time. One of the star priests that you knocked out looks like the siren that went totally unexplained. It's just a thing that happened. And maybe it's because you are inhabited by the siren. I don't know. Siren is haunting you and taunting you.
Well, I'm haunted by the, what's her name? The
Editha.
Yeah, and then I'm inhabited
You're
by
inhabited by
Editha.
Editha, haunted by the siren.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that star priest, when you all were invisible with the Mirage ritual, that star priest made really direct eye contact with you while you were invisible. No one else saw this, but you did, and so I don't know what it means, but we'll find out. And Duquesne is currently sitting on 0 gold, 0 hunt tokens, 1 ruin, and 1 burden. Let's get going here. So Osto, you stepped on this invisible rune, it begins to glow, and suddenly the space is getting very, very hot. Ethelinda and Osto, you can both feel you are actually heating up from the inside. You're going to be boiled alive from the inside. Korkuluk, you're totally unaffected. Another advantage of not having blood and internal organs and things like that. So I might give you, Korkuluk, the first chance to help them. So if you want to think about something for a moment, how you might like save them from boiling alive from the inside, that might be great.
Do I have any sense, like, is the heat emanating from that glyph, or is it just sort of a universal?
It's just a curse, yeah. It's just like anybody down there, it's happening to them.
Okay.
And I'm sure that like Ethelinda will probably, I mean, Ethelinda, what do you say to Korkuluk once you realize like what's happening? You feel yourself getting hotter.
A trap's gone off, and how do well, I guess I don't know about the ruin yet, right? So
You don't know about the ruin, you're just getting really hot.
Yeah, I just say something's wrong, and we see like beads of sweat coming down my forehead.
Osto, how do you react when this starts?
Would he have noticed the glyph in the floor?
Oh, you see it. You immediately feel the heat as well from inside as soon as the thing starts to glow.
I did a thing.
I'll come running to look. And I was thinking that maybe I could mend the ruin.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Let's go around the table and just sort out ideas. So you're thinking you might like mend the ruin somehow, like put it back in place, basically, to the way it was. That's an intriguing idea. Korkuluk, do you have an idea, since you are probably more able to act because you're not boiling alive from the inside?
Yeah. A quick question: can you remind me of the lay of the land? We had exited the library, and there was a bend in the hallway.
I've kept the hallways a little vague, but basically it's just a couple of corridors that connect up 3 rooms down in the basement. So.
And this was my mental impression. It might not be correct. If we go past that glyph, does it go down further?
Oh, or? Yes. At the end of one corridor, the glyph is right in front of like an open doorway that goes to some stairs going down.
All right.
The trap is devised so that you step on it and then it causes,
yeah, so I've got 2 thoughts. I could try to use rewind ritual to push time around a little bit, or I try and tuck one of you under each arm and run or something. But I don't know if I'm physically capable of.
Well, it may not do anything about the curse either. So,
right.
Osto, do you have any thoughts? I like the rewind idea though.
Would ward perhaps keep us from getting too hot in like around Osto's area?
Oh yeah, that's pretty good too. I think since Korkuluk is the one who's not burning alive, maybe we let Korkuluk do his ritual rewind to see how that goes. Maybe with help from one of you, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's my call. Since Korkuluk is probably best able to act, I think I'm going to give Korkuluk the crack at it. So Korkuluk, or everybody else, what could go wrong here?
Let me explain, I think, a little more what I'm planning to do here. I think I'm rewinding the priest, because I believe rewind is an animal, or it's not a space, right? Rewind says slightly push up.
You could rewind. I thought you were going to rewind Osto to not step on it, but rewinding the priest is probably fine also. Yeah.
I thought, yeah, we rewind the priest and then clock him over the head.
But the priest is not present, so would you be able to do it because he's not there?
Oh, I don't know. Good question. If not, then rewind Osto.
Yeah, I think rewind Osto is probably the most available thing right now.
So from there, what can go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong, Druid Fraser?
I could see the rewind like hurting Osto in some way, like making him move in an unnatural manner might hurt.
Maybe you rewind to like, I like the idea. I don't know, for some reason I just like the idea of Osto becoming like a beast bitten cub. Like he's like becomes a kid who can still change into a bear cub. That'd be kind of amazing. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but just something that popped into my head.
I was going to suggest that you're forced into bear form for the moment. Not necessarily. I didn't think the child version. I was thinking I've rewound you to a time when you had transformed and didn't know how to get back to human nature or something.
Do you have any thoughts, Drew?
This might be more of a devil's bargain, but maybe this is how Osto gets unstuck in time.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, so let's talk about dice. Cork a luck. I don't know about some of you have any skills that are applicable. Do you have like a piece of equipment that you use for this that would be good?
Good question.
Maybe you ring the chime to to tap into the temporal
Look at that
world or
wooden
something.
mask. What if I used the mask to sort of transform Osto's face, sort of
Oh, I
baffling
see.
the glyph, slapping it over, pretending he's someone else.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Or I've got my Reef Maker Good Luck Charm. Maybe it's time to put that Reef Maker Good Luck Charm to use.
Oh yeah, that could be. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, just a general like good luck. But I'm open to it if you want to use that charm. I think that's good.
Yeah, what if we chuck the Reef Maker Good Luck Charm around your neck? The one from the Balandrakeeter's belly.
That works. So you got one light die. Devil's bargains. I don't know. I just kind of like the idea of like, I don't know. I just kind of like the idea of the bear cub thing. I don't know why that really just, I don't know, just something humorous about that for me right now. So you do, I think you just like, it's temporary, but basically you are sort of like temporarily turned into a beast-bitten bear cub. I think that would be hilarious. But anyway, it's Brian's choice, obviously, but that's my offer.
Maybe it rolls back Osto's memory to before the incursion.
Oh, interesting. It's hard to role play, but yeah, it's interesting.
Drew, earlier you said this is how Osto becomes unstuck in time. I feel like you're referencing something I'm not remembering. No pun intended. Was there like a fate that this was going to happen to him or something that I'm not remembering?
Patience Davies said that Osto was unstuck in time, and he, during a tarot cardish reading, he got
That happened as well. Yeah.
Cards. Okay, thank you.
Osto is perpetually on the left. I don't think I have one that's more interesting than what people have said.
Got two offers.
All right. So bear cub or unstuck in time, or
Oh no! Oh, the unstuck in time was. Well, you were just suggesting that. I think the offer was. You lose your memories of the place, right?
I'd
But
also
certainly,
like
but certainly
Unstuck in Time,
we can
yeah.
have that third one on there since Fraser didn't offer anything. So.
these are, I don't, just curious to make the choice on this because they're both impacting Drew, your character, quite a bit more so than me. They're not devil's bargains that are making life hard for me. You know what I mean?
They might.
It might. I mean, you know.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I'm running around with a toddler or something. Yeah. Let's try the temporary bear cub one and see what happens. Make you the Mowgli man cub.
And you'll add a dark die for your ritual, so it's 2 light, 1 dark. Risk 2/1.
Threes across the board.
Yowza. And you have to stop too. You can't do anymore. Which means it's a hard fail. Happens very rarely in Trophy, but it does happen. I'm now trying to remember what we were talking about for consequences. We were saying
It could be painful was mine.
Yeah. And what else did we say? Oh, I just said the bear cub thing as a fail condition. I think I just might go really hard on that. So describe the ritual, I'll describe the effect.
So I rip off this Reef Maker good luck charm that's on a little kind of a salt encrusted strip of leather and try to
Oh, I
throw
do
it
want to
around
chime in.
Osto's.
Actually, before we start, help is available. That is a thing if we want to avoid this. So I was going to go pretty hard on the like transforming into a bear cub thing. So if you want to avoid that, if somebody has any thoughts on help, like Ethelinda, if you help with the ritual, or Osto, if you help in some way.
Maybe I could attune Corkaluk to Osto to
Oh, that's
help.
good. That's perfect. Yeah, I love that. So what does that look like? What do you do like for the ritual?
I think she starts like doing almost like knitting patterns in the air, and then there's like a sort of invisible-ish line that threads its way between the two.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's good. Okay, so roll weak to get the number.
Alrighty. Here's hoping.
No, that's a 3. 4 3s on 4 dice. Oh, the cruel, cruel die roller. And your ruin goes up. So yeah, this is all bad. Okay. So you're doing that. Continue describing the ritual. Sorry, Corporal.
That's all right. So rip off this Reef Maker amulet that's got kind of a leather salt encrusted what do you call that, like a band around it, and try to loop that around Osto's neck in the like almost like reining in a wild animal. And it was a fish-shaped charm if I remember right.
It is, yeah.
I feel like somehow in the panic of the moment and Osto overheating, the idea of a collar being attached to a beast bitten, and then a charm that is shaped like a fish flies right past your mouth. Osto's just like, ah!
All the bear comes out, right? Yeah, that's good.
And it doesn't go well.
I mean, I think it does reverse the time in the sense that the rune doesn't go off, so that's fine. I think you'll have succeeded in that point. But what happens is Osto, yeah, you just become a bear, like a bear cub, and I think the way we see it is that it's like you're kind of like it's cutting between like screams and roars, right? Like you're kind of like screaming, and then like you kind of become a bear and it's like, and then but then like you're getting smaller as well. So you're like a little kid screaming and then roaring. And finally, you're just this bear cub. I think you leap on Ethelinda and take a bite out of her, which is where the rune comes from. And Corkaluk has to wrangle you and to calm you down, and eventually you do. But I think you're just stuck as a bear cub for a little bit. I'll let you know when it's done. You can still combat. I'll let you do hunt rolls as well, but you'll have to communicate things in a bear way, right? So let's just have that moment after everything's calmed down and you're no longer boiling alive.
So my ruin goes up though?
It does, yeah, because your help die matched the dark die.
Okay, but my ruin is 3.
Oh, that doesn't matter. It's just if it matches the die. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Okay.
I'd feel terrible personally. I feel like I'm like sprawled on the floor, like caressing a tiny little bear cub, being like, "I'm sorry, I thought it was gonna go right. I panicked in the moment."
Rewind so rarely goes right. I don't know why. I don't know why people keep allowing you to do it.
I put Aditha's legs back on. I feel like I was.
That is true.
Good
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. You also landed in the middle of a cult ritual from the ancient past, if I recall correctly. at that moment, but but it's fun.
I
Okay,
think
so
I
yeah,
would.
continue. Sorry.
I think I would be trying to calm Osso down while clutching my little wound. I guess it's lucky that it's not a big bear. Otherwise,
It would have been a lot
I'd be
worse.
more
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I think what I do is I use my mirror to show Osto what he has become, to kind of clue him in and maybe stop thrashing around and stuff.
Osto, I'm curious what you're feeling and thinking right now.
Probably a lot of panic until efforts were made to calm him down, and staring at his reflection in the mirror with the dopey cub tongue half hanging out, and he's just going to turn his head to look at Korkaluk like just a withering cub glare.
A withering cub glare. Good. Is it a grizzly or a black bear?
I think grizzly.
Okay, yeah, that's the kind of cub that can still hurt you. A black bear cub can't hurt you, but like a grizzly one could. Good. Well, gang. Let me take a look at the incursion. Kind of reorient us here a little bit. You had searched the office. You had searched the library. There was one more room, if I'm not mistaken. That was the dry storage. Did you guys search that yet?
Yeah, I think
Yep.
we got all of them.
Okay. Then yeah. Otherwise, there's just the stairway that goes down to the next level. So.
One thing though, since we were able to diffuse the burning lord and don't have to flee, can we backtrack and check that library for any books by Professor Lemwicket?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm totally doing
Wanted
that.
to see if he's published something that's in the library there.
Yeah, well, and one nice thing about this whole sequence is I think the Star Priests probably feel like you all are pretty well taken care of, like between the curse and also just a general thinking that you're not going to survive when you go down below. I think they're probably able to not worry about you so much. So if you want to spend some time doing this, I think that's perfectly fine.
You all okay with it? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool with it. I'm sure that it's up to the group. The bear doesn't probably get a vote, so.
Yeah. Raise your left paw.
If you want to do this. So give me a hunt roll, and tell me, are you just kind of pulling books off the shelf and taking a look, or what?
Well, just I'm assuming many of the books have names on the spine, so sure. I don't know how many books we're talking about. I'm assuming a decent sized room, but not like a 3-story library, right?
Oh no, it's like a bedroom size. Yeah, pretty small.
So first a scan just to look at names in the spines, and if something says Lemwicket, that's the one we're looking for. Or
take a
copies.
Yeah, go for
it. Skill and artifacts useful?
That feels like a stretch, especially if you're just reading spines.
Gotcha.
Oh, hunt one. Hey, there you go. Go ahead and take your token. You do find a book. It's a theoretical sort of treatise on what the dandy told you that Professor Lemwicket was interested in, which is this idea that the stars are that there's power in constellations, there's power in the stars, and indeed knowing you can harness this power to almost get access to other worlds, to travel to other worlds, right? And when he wrote this book, he had not yet obviously come to the Temple of the Peerless Star, but he did write the central part of his thesis is that a particular sister called Saint Estina had allegedly created an astrolabe that was magical and could be set to different constellations in order to invoke their power, right? And so that's what you know. But he doesn't know any, at the time of the writing of this book, he doesn't know where the astrolabe is, and he doesn't know anything beyond that. But Astina, it's Astina. And encounter something terrible. I think I'm okay with I don't think I have anything to add, to be honest. So.
The constellations are offensive.
Yes. But it does make you wonder, because you're encountering all these things throughout the dungeon that are like different like star patterns, right? Like you have the journal, even in this very room, there's a star chart that's framed that's like an inversion of the night sky, right? So
what if the something terrible is inside this book? It's dedicated to Ethelinda's mother.
that would be amazing. Yeah, that would be pretty incredible. I'm not going to go that far, but I do like the idea of it. Remind us, Ethelinda, what the story about your mom?
She sort of like went mad from looking at that the Peerless Star. Is that what it's called?
Abrasax.
Yeah, she sort of got obsessed with it and went to like mad, and I believe I said that she went missing.
Yeah. No, that's great. So, you probably had to scan the book for like a good solid 15 or 20 minutes to get that basic information. Probably want to get a move on at this point. I will ask the other two though, what were you doing in the meantime, Ethelinda? And maybe Ethelinda, if you were helping, that makes total sense. But if you have something else you want to do.
Yeah, maybe just helping things go along.
Yeah, kind of interpreting the words and interpreting like what the theory is, I guess, makes sense to me. What about you, Osto?
I think he's just trying to maybe get his bear cub legs under him, figure out how to maneuver and get used to this again.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm curious, did you, based off when you became beast bitten, did you ever have a cub phase? Like, were you already an adult?
He was a teenager, so pretty well an adult.
Yeah. So this is totally new. That's interesting. Answer this question for me. How does the world seem different in this form?
He's so short compared to what he's used to. Everything is so much higher than he's accustomed to.
Seeing everything from Scum's point of view.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so what's next?
Let me ask a question here. Are we lugging around Osto's gear? Like, are we dragging his backpack and stuff, or is it
That's
magically?
a good question, Osto. I'm open to whatever, but when you do beast bitten, is it like the Hulk, like all your stuff tears or shrinks or whatever, or falls away, or is it part of the total transformation?
If he goes like full on bear, then yeah, his stuff gets shed.
Oh, so yeah, I think all of his stuff is there in the hall. Yeah.
I figured because he was rewound, it is just in hammer space, I guess. And then, but otherwise it could just be on the floor.
What say that again? It's in what space?
Hammer space.
What does that mean?
It's like in a cartoon when someone pulls a hammer out of a pocket.
Oh,
it shouldn't fit.
So it's like backpack.
Yeah.
I'm into that. Yeah, I'm fine with it. If just because it might be easier to not have to like.
Right. There's a reason I asked though is that you have Norel's bestiary. They
just want your stuff.
If there's an entry on Bear Cub, I'll just be like, Osto, come here. I got to read a chapter to you, and do a little bear bedtime story or something.
I'll leave it up to you, Drew. Whatever you want to do.
I think it's inaccessible. Just magicked away for now.
Okay, so what's next then? I mean, the next way to go. Avoid the rune, obviously.
Yeah, I guess we'll just proceed much more carefully, I imagine. I go down that track like a horse who knows that they'll be shot if they break their leg.
So you're going very slowly down the stairs. Are you in the lead, Ethelinda?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. You get down. The stairs go down just like 20 feet or so to a landing that is the next set. And this set is called the Catacombs. And the set goal for the Catacombs is find the entrance to the Starlight Serpent's den.
Maybe we don't do that.
Find the entrance to the Starlight Serpent's den. Let me tell you what you see. So the Catacombs is a large network of both stonemasoned corridors and natural stone tunnels. It kind of switches back and forth. And it's a huge area. It occupies an area twice as big as the temple itself. The ceilings are fairly high throughout, and the whole area is decorated with star carvings that are rubbed with silver and yellow. There are no light sources down here, so straight away I need a torch from someone.
Wait, hang on a second. Do I have one or a backpack slot? Yeah, I'll do a backpack slot.
I reach inside the bear and take a torch out.
You have a torch. Korklik has a torch. You light it. The thing you'll notice, so you're starting in this large round chamber, very large round chamber. The chamber is probably about, I'd say, a good like 40 feet roughly in diameter. And this round chamber has a few features that you need to be aware of. First, there are 3 passageways jutting off of it, so 3 different directions to go. Second, there is a massive metal grate on the floor, okay? The grate is about half the diameter of the room itself, but still quite big. Beneath the grate is a space filled with bones and other detritus. The grate is on a hinge and can be opened from below. So it opens, the grate lifts up. Okay, that makes sense. So round space, 3 passages jutting off, a metal grate on the floor that can be opened towards you, right, from below. And below that grate, like a sort of refuse or detritus pit, essentially.
So you're just to confirm, you're saying that it cannot be opened from above.
Well, you can. I mean, yeah, it can, because it opens that way, right? Like
Okay.
It pulls up. Yeah.
Got it. All right. No, I understand.
I was just saying that it can be opened from below, right? So because you push up from below.
Passages look pretty equal, or are we talking like one stonework, one carved, one?
At this point, they all look the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Korklik, what do you do?
Kind of curious to peek down through the grate, like kind of stuff the torch tip down a bit through the grate if it'll fit, and see how far down is it to this mass of bones and detritus.
Take a hunt roll with 2 dice since you're using the torch.
6.
Nice. Take your token. It is about it's about 15 feet down, which is interesting because it makes one wonder if this thing is meant to be pushed up either from below or pulled up from below. Like, why? Like, if it's just a drop down 15 feet, why or how, right? But in any case, you look down and you do see. So you'll see a bunch of bones, a bunch of like just trash. You actually do see down there what appears to be a decently well-preserved set of leather armor, with part of its owner still in it, skeleton, of course. Yeah. And also you'll notice, since you rolled a 6, you'll also notice that there are holes, small shafts or tunnels in the walls down there that connect to the central area, that feed into it. So something can enter this space from these like.
And can we see the ceiling above us? Is this like a vertical drop into like a cesspit or something? Like, are they throwing something?
Oh, no. Above you, it's like the ceiling's about 15 feet high, and it's just ceiling.
Could Osto use his sense of smell to detect anything?
Of course, go for it.
That'd be hunt 2 for bear nose.
No.
That's a 2.
That's a 2. You encounter something terrible. I don't know if bears have advanced hearing or not, but we're going to say they do. You will have been aware of the chanting and stuff coming from above. And I mentioned before, last time, that you can hear chanting coming from below as well, right? When you were up above. You can hear that chanting now much louder. In fact, there's one particular corridor that chanting is emanating from. It's pretty deep in, like it's not like super present, but there's a frenzy to it, and there is it's the words that are being spoken are incredibly alien. They don't seem like anything you've ever heard before, and that's where I'm going to leave that. But you don't otherwise detect anything apart from what I've noted about the detritus area, the pit. Ethelinda, what are you doing?
Can I be looking at the various entrances and see which one appears to be most recently traveled through?
I like that. How are you doing that?
Just with vision and maybe I take Corkluck's torch.
Go for it. 2 dice. Hand me your torch.
I'll give you that look of like, what? That was in my hand. It's my torch.
5.
Take your token. There is, in fact, one passage that is more there are 2. Are you wanting to know? Here's my question. Are you wanting to know who has gone into the catacomb more, or who has come out of the catacomb more? Which are you interested in, coming or going?
Probably going. I'm more concerned with which passage would lead us to the ritual.
Interesting. There is one passage that there are scuff marks and worn parts, distinctly more going in. This is not the same passage as what the bear can hear, but I'm not sure how the bear is conveying that to you. So, and I don't even know if you hear the chanting. It might just be that the bear can hear it with his super sense. But
I just pictured the bear looking at me and being like,
I mean, I think you probably, I mean, honestly, I kind of feel like you probably would hear the ritual noise. And I will just tell you that it's 2 different places. The one with more people going in is not where the chanting is coming from.
interesting. Oh,
You have to encounter something terrible as well. And I'll tell you this. I think you probably get far enough into one of the corridors as you're investigating to notice that about halfway up the wall, but above your head because it's a very high ceiling. On one wall, there is a metal grate, much like the one in the junction on the floor, but on the wall, and it swings outward or inward, swings both ways. And that's interesting. You see a large, thick, glimmering, scaly hide slide past that grate.
Can I have I'll use one of my equipment things to do an iron spike, if I can use an iron spike to wedge it in there so it can't be used.
You can definitely do that, yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
I assume you wait for the creature to pass.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just want to hold up all of these little grates.
Well, I've got bad news for you. But you can go ahead and hold up. You can go ahead and try to close this one up for sure. Kind of bend the metal or whatever you need to do. Like, how are you doing?
None of us are veteran whalers who might have like just reflexively like giant beast,
die.
Yeah. I was thinking, I don't know how big these hinges are or how big iron spikes are, but I was going to put an iron spike in the hinge so it can.
Okay, that works. Yeah, I'm into that. I don't need a roll. I mean, at worst, it just maybe makes it harder to open, you know, maybe not possible. But okay, well, so then what?
I'll relay that information to them, and if anyone knows how snakes hunt, now would be a good time to tell us, so maybe we could figure out how to escape this thing.
So 3 corridors or the pit. Corkluck, what do you do?
Well, I'm happy to chat with all of you to figure out where to go. Asta, point it or something if something seems appealing, or wag your stubby little bear tail. We can have a whole system of communication by the end of this incursion, I'm sure.
Bear can't.
I guess my thought is we can hear this chanting. A part of me thinks we could ignore that and go elsewhere and loot to maximum potential before, while they're busy, go loot elsewhere. There's another part of me that doesn't know when the chanting's going to end.
Well, and if it does end, it's probably bad news for us, right? Like, it's probably
they're not busy anymore.
Yeah, well, that and whatever the ritual does.
Should we try to sneak up and sort of eavesdrop on the ritual, and then if it looks like it's going to keep going or not be immediately catastrophic, back off and plunder elsewhere while they're busy?
Sure. I mean, at the very least, if the snake goes after us and we're close to them, then at least some of them might be collateral damage as well or something.
So going towards the chanting then?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And being cautious about just trying to not, with our torch, cast a giant glow down the hallway of "here we come." Like, if that might be sort of leaving the torch a little bit back with Ethelinda, and I tiptoe forward and look, and then come on forward or something. I don't know.
You head down the corridor. I regret to inform you that these large round grates on the wall that are they're like above your head, they're spaced at regular intervals, giving the creature access to you pretty much wherever you go. You have access to it as well. It is like a sort of tunnel in the wall, built into the wall. So if you want to go in there and crawl in it, I suppose you could. But In any case, you are this corridor actually, you follow it for a little bit. It's not actually that far. I would say you follow it for probably just like, you could probably traverse the whole thing in less than a minute. And if you're taking your time, especially. And it leads to an open doorway. You may want to stop before you get super close to it. But on the other side of it, that is where the chanting is coming from. You can hear it. Somebody will probably have to sneak up to try to get a better look.
Is there light coming from within, or are they in total darkness?
There is light coming from within. It is, it's a sort of like, it's a white light in the room, not a torchlight.
Got it.
We'll send Osto in and then expect bear charades.
But Osto can't tell you what he sees, though.
That's where the charades come in.
Oh,
Like,
charades.
one word,
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. But like, okay. So who's doing what here?
I'm happy to peek unless somebody else wants to.
I'll let you peek.
All right, I'll go sneak up and look around the corner.
I'll take it as a hunt roll. If you have a sneaking type skill, that'd be really helpful right now. But otherwise,
I feel like obfuscation seems like sneaking.
I'm into it. Just describe how you're like keeping hidden.
Since I'm not quite human, and I'm going to do the thing where I'm like scuttling down on the ground, sort of like a soldier crawl, but in a way that a human just can't quite do, so that my face is
really flat.
My face is not coming in at 4 feet my height. My face is coming in on the ground, essentially.
I like that. So you look a little bit like just the terrain, I guess.
Yeah.
Do a hunt roll 2. 2 dice.
6.
Hey, 6. Take your token. Here's what you see. You see, this is a sort of decent-sized round chamber, ritual chamber. There is a man, possibly a star priest, it's a little unclear, but they're naked, laying on a mosaic of the 9-pointed star set in the floor. The priest is surrounded by 9 very unusual looking creatures. They have milk white skin, long greasy strands of black hair. They have talons on their hands and feet, and their teeth are like razor-like. They look a little bit like the ghoul type creatures from Hester's Mill. I forgot what we named them, but the ill-belchers, maybe, is that what you guys called them?
It was a yellow-humored lurker.
Oh, yellow-humored lurkers, yeah. They look a little bit like the yellow-humored lurkers in just their sort of ghoulishness, but they have like, they all uniformly have like long, greasy black hair and they're dressed like in sort of a little bit like the Star Priest, but like the robes are sort of tattered, right? And these 9 creatures are standing around this naked man who's laying on the 9-pointed mosaic, and they're chanting like just like a strange chant, words you don't recognize. And at a certain point they stop, and the creatures all kneel down and they bite the man at 9 points on his body, each of them 1 point. The forehead, the left clavicle, the right clavicle, the left palm, the right palm, the left inner thigh, the right inner thigh, the sole of the left foot, and the sole of the right foot. And they just give the man these wounds, and they're bloody wounds, like they're bleeding out. And then they pick the man up and are getting ready to walk out. What do you do?
I'm assuming there's only one entrance, the one that
Yes.
I'm at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I am scuttling back quickly and doing the like go gesture.
Do you all run back to the junction?
I feel like we have to.
Unless you want to be seen, yeah. Or
And
face
there's-
them, I suppose.
And how many there'd be like 10, 11?
There's the wounded man who was the object of the ritual, and then the 9 creatures that did it.
Jeez. Yeah, probably leave.
Where do you hide? Because presumably they're going to come to the junction too. There's nowhere else to go.
We could hide in a snake tunnel.
That's what I was thinking too. It'd be thematic.
Certainly thematic.
This is where the bear has an advantage because the bear can move freely in the snake tunnel. You both have to crawl.
Finally, an advantage.
Should we do it?
Do you get in the snake tunnel? You can. You totally can.
Let's do it.
It's there.
Otherwise, they might even, like hear us retreating and stuff like that too. We'll just hope that the snake is on the other side, slithering.
That's my thought. Try and hide in the tunnel and hope they pass by.
You all get into the tunnel, no
That's our
problem.
torch.
You can sort of peek out the grates if you want, or you can stay hidden. It's up to you. If you stay totally hidden, there's no chance of them seeing you. If you peek out the grates to see what's happening, then there's a chance. Asta, what do you do?
Maybe Asta will peek because he'll be pretty low to the ground too, and dark fur.
And dark fur, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, do a hunt roll.
Two or one.
The number of dice. Well, I'd say 1 just because you can't use the environment for a hunt roll. So.
1.
You lose all your tokens. Boy, the die roll is cruel at the certain moments is being very cruel. You lose all your tokens. You see them going by. They're carrying the man. He's bleeding from the 9 spots on his body. And you can tell that they're going into the junction and then turning and going to another passage, another one of the 3 passages. The way is now clear to the ritual room. And this corridor is now clear. The problem, of course, is that you see 2 large glimmering eyes approaching you from within the tunnel. What do you do, Osto?
He's just gonna shove himself up against the opening to the grate to try and push it open and get out.
I like this as a risk roll. I think it's on you to save everybody here, Osto. Otherwise, they're gonna have to face the Starlight Serpent. Well, you don't know it's the Starlight Serpent. I do. As players, we do. On its terms, in a tunnel that it can navigate easily, and they're stuck like one by one on their hands and knees. So, what do you do? Just like pop it open and just try to get everybody out, or what? What does this look like?
Try to, make a bit of a growling yelp and just try and shove it
Scamper
open.
out. Yeah. Do a risk roll. What could go wrong, Fraser and Brian?
It just doesn't happen in time.
Yeah, and you have to face the serpent. I like that.
Could be that if I'm picturing these grates right, you kind of tumble up and get a rear paw stuck between the grate and the wall, like you're dangling.
Oh, I was going to say also that maybe you have to face the serpent so they can escape, right? That could be part of it as well. Okay, so we've got some ideas on the table. Let's talk about dice. What do you think for your strength? I'm into strength. pushing the grate open. Unless you have another idea.
I think strength is good.
And Devil's Bargains. I'm going to turn my thing into Devil's Bargain. No matter what, you got to face the serpent for a round. Hopefully your companions will come up with scintillating offers that are not so dangerous. No pressure.
You would know this, Jason, rather than us. Is there more than one serpent? Is it possible another one's coming from a different angle?
That is not possible. No.
I don't know if this is a devil's bargain. This might just be back to what could go wrong, but the sort of ghoul priests, they hear, or at least one of them hears and turns back.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. No matter what, you get the attention of one of those creatures.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah, I don't think I have anything that would be a devil's bargain other than that.
You got two options. Neither of them great. One's maybe a little better. What do you think, Costo?
I think I'll take the ghoul priest.
Fair enough. 2 light, 1 dark. Go for it. I think you're automatically dark is implicated here.
5.
You are going to succeed. There's a complication with the 5. I think the complication is going to be that you escape, you get out of the tunnel, no problem. The complication is going to be quite simply that the snake is aware of you now. I think maybe it wasn't quite aware of you yet. If you're okay with that, it can stand. Otherwise, you're going to add a die and roll again, or you can add dark die and roll again.
The way my dice have been rolling, I think I'll stick with this.
Fair enough. Describe the escape.
Once Osto sees the eyes, and he might have seen them before everyone else because bears have pretty good night vision. So as soon as he sees that, he makes a little noise and just starts shoving at the grate and trying to get everyone to let's move, get out of here.
And everyone can scramble to safety, no problem. As you are getting out, Ethelinda, you will be the first one to notice that one of these creatures, which you haven't seen yet, only Korkuluk and Osto have seen them, but you see the creature like pretty, like definitely like skulking around in the corridor, like coming towards your direction, trying to see what's going on. What do you do?
What would make this thing afraid? I was thinking of doing an illusion. I'm just trying to figure out what.
Yeah, think on it. We'll take a break. We'll come back in 5.
I thought for a minute that was one of the filters.
So Ethelinda, you're the first one to see this like creature, like coming around the corner to the corridor that you're in. It hasn't seen you yet. It's just like kind of bobbing around and listening and kind of like it sort of whispers in your direction, although it's probably it still doesn't seem like it can see you yet, but it just whispers, Israk no ventiles ban.
I have translation. Do I know what that means?
You do not recognize that, no.
Oh, okay.
But that's information enough, right? You don't recognize this language. What do you do?
I want to do a mirage, and I think the thing that makes the most sense is I start simulating like a cave-in where like it starts shaking and some debris starts falling close to it and stuff like that. I think that's they're more likely to run away and tell other people what's happening other than to bring them here. And if noise happens, then it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I'm into it. Love that. Let's talk about what could go wrong. Brian and Drew, any ideas? I mean, maybe it does run toward you. And you have to deal with it.
You talked about what these beasts look like, but you actually didn't describe eyes. What if they don't have eyes?
I did not describe if they have eyes. I'm into the idea of them not having eyes. Yeah, we discovered this too late. They're blind. That would be intriguing. They like sense in some other way.
I'm not coming up with anything.
Let's take a look at dice. What do you think?
Mirage and
Unless you have an applicable skill or a piece of equipment, you don't have any light dice yet. So
I have words and attunement.
it feels like a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah. So do I need a devil's bargain then? Is that one?
Or if you have a piece of equipment, that would be helpful.
I don't think so. Hourglass. Unless I could use that. Hourglass is how long it lasts or something like that.
You used the mirror last time, and that was pretty good.
Does an iron spike give you enough to jab out some actual dust to?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Fling
Like you
out,
use
like,
the
you know,
spike to
straight-
like crack and then that's like the basis of the illusion, right? Because you magnify it or something. Pretty
Gives
cool.
a little bit of odor for the.
Oh yeah. I like that idea a lot. You should steal that, Fraser.
Yeah, I'll do that, and then that way I like it too, because when I make the ceiling fall like a little bit, it would be the stuff that I throw on the ground too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like,
All right, so you
accentuate it.
got your first light die, devil's bargains. My devil's bargain is going to be no matter what, the snake strikes from the tunnel, from the crate.
That's sort of an out of the frying pan into the fire, like the Mirage successfully hides us from the ghoul priest, but puts us right back in the maw of the snake.
It's not the most amazing devil's bargain for sure. So it's up to you two to come up with something better.
No matter what, we have to fight that one priest. Like the other ones don't follow, but he's brave.
Oh, I see. So like basically the Mirage will work to keep the others at bay. They won't like come back into this tunnel, but you do have to deal with the one. That's interesting. It's a little bit like, it feels a little bit like if the die roll failed, but we can make it work, I think, if you take that one, Fraser.
I'm not coming up with anything better right now.
Two choices.
I kind of like getting the snake on me. Anyway.
All right then.
I'm too used to PBTA. I don't care.
Go for it. Go for it. 2 light, 1 dark. Just 2-1.
For it would not be a hunt roll. It'd be.
It's a risk. Yeah, risk 2.
Risk 1. A 4 and a 3, so I'll push it. I can do that, right?
You can add a dark die, yeah. Risk 2 too. Hey, there you go.
2 6s.
Full success. Describe basically tricking the ghoul priest first.
Yeah, so I take the iron spike and I take a chunk out of the wall, and then I start going into my spell work tongue action with my eyes going white, and I like start doing rumbles, and as a piece of the ceiling falls, that's when I throw my real chunk that lands close to them, so it reinforces the illusion. And yeah.
Nice. And at that moment, while the three of you are there in the corridor, you know, Ethelinda's doing her thing, this large snake extends part of its body out of the tunnel. Like, it doesn't come all the way out, it just, like, the head and a little bit of it comes out, and it just, you hear the grate pop open, you see the snake come out with its big glittering eyes, mirror-like scales, fangs the size of daggers, just flies out, and you have to combat it. It is, describe how you're vulnerable, everybody, and roll your weak point.
Let's see. Is there, can you do like skills and rituals and stuff like that in combat as well?
Yes, and there are rules coming for that in the final
Oh,
version of the
okay.
rules, but the way I do it now is it's just fictional positioning. So
Oh, okay. Because my idea was I like want to checkmate the stake, as in I attune me to it, so if it hurts me, then it hurts itself as well.
I mean, I'm into this as an idea. It's still just a combat role, though. It's just how you describe it. So, which could be,
Okay.
you know, that might be advantageous. Who knows if you want to do that? But in any case, describe how you're vulnerable and roll weak.
I am susceptible to bites.
I'm tiny.
Oh,
Your
mine's
fun, your fun,
5.
your fun size.
Max size.
Yeah, snack size.
I feel like I could kind of tell a fight was coming here, since the beasts turned back and we were kind of between point A, or, you know, two aggressors. So I feel like I'm almost where in the past I've been bumbling in the combats. This time I'm too bravado. I'm like, I'm ready for this fight, and just sort of charge in heedless of defense, which also matches the weak point I rolled of 6.
Got a 6. What is your weak point, Osto? What'd you end up with?
2.
2. And what'd you end up with, Ethelinda?
5.
5. 6, 5, 2. Combat 3. What's everybody attacking with? Tell me about your weapon. Since Fraser brought up the idea of the voodoo doll spike thing.
Swinging my axe right into its snaky snout.
Osto, what are you using?
Teeth and claws.
Teeth and claws. Interesting. What about you?
Can I do that idea where I like attune myself to it?
I do like this idea. So what does this look like? Like, what is the attack?
I think it just looks like me doing a ritual where I'm doing that same whatchamacallit, where I'm doing needlework and I draw the connection between the serpent and I.
Nice. And so, like, when you do the attack, like, you're literally stabbing yourself, and that stabs the creature? Is that the idea?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see you wielding your hand mirror like a ping pong paddle also.
Okay, so combat 3. Go ahead and roll it. Osto, roll it up. Looking for 11.
Nine.
Not enough. I will tell you this. It was a 5, a 4, and a 1, which means Ethelinda, you're getting hit. I will tell you this, Korkulek, your axe cannot penetrate the scales. Like, you swing and it just pops right off, like nothing happens. Same thing with your little cub claws and teeth. Just it won't. You can't even dent this thing. Ethelinda, your idea actually works. Like, and it gets the snake's attention. Like, you did manage to wound it. It gets the snake's attention. Unfortunately, that means it strikes at you, but and takes a nice big bite out of you for 1 ruin. And unfortunately, the snake also has the ability. The snake, when it attacks from the tunnel in the wall, you only get 1 round with it, and then it recedes. and goes back into the tunnel. So it just leaps out, you're all like clawing, hitting at it, nothing's happening. Ethelinda does her thing. And you want to describe that, Ethelinda? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I did the weaving thing, and there's like a invisible string that's connected between us, and I like pluck it type deal. And then the snake probably senses that and then like whips out and like bites my arm.
Yeah.
And so I think the damage is, like it hurt me and it hurt itself by hurting me.
Oh, I like that. Okay. So you got its attention and it like hurt, it bit you and hurt itself as well. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So like,
and then it retreated too. So I was like, haha.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't know that's just its tactic. And it recedes back into the wall. The grate swings freely and you see its body sliding away in the tunnel. Let's just have that moment post-fight and your rune goes up, Ethelinda.
Yeah, I brought it up to 5.
Oh, great.
Bare wire. Or can I use the wolf frocked coat? No, actually I don't want to, because then my fiction doesn't make sense.
You can save it for the next combat.
And I'll be nursing my arm, and I'll say, clearly this thing is not a normal creature.
So I feel like really, Asta, we need you to return to your normal form here, in part for your normal combat strength that we're about to desperately need. And in part because I still really want to look at Morale's bestiary and see if there's an entry on this thing. And so I'm just gonna like give you a little like wooga wooga wooga, like, come out of there.
I'll let you know when it's over. So what's next? You will notice that the ghoul priest creatures, they do come to investigate, and to them it looks like the tunnel's collapsed, right? So they just turn back and go back to the direction they came from. So they have gone down one corridor. They're doing whatever they're doing with that body, with that person they bit. So where do you go from here, Korkaluk? I mean,
yeah, I wanted to ask, could we tell of the corridors they went down, did they go down the one that was scuffed up or the one we don't yet know?
They went down the one that I told Ethelinda like has the most people going into it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that bleeding person, they were still alive, right?
They were, yeah. Seemed like it, yeah.
Right. I feel like we should go hustle and check out the ritual chamber. We'll, pilfer anything that's useful there, see what we can learn, and then move on. What do y'all think?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
So you can turn back the other way, go to the ritual chamber. It's not that far. Like I said, this is a fairly short corridor.
One other quick thing before we depart, though. Like my axe seemed to bounce off the nose of this this beastie, and like sort of a mining pick. I don't really have a lot of. Like I could try and wrap a chain around its neck or something.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Do we need to distribute, or maybe a torch might work? It feels like we might need something a little different to whoop it up. Anything we should pass around or whatever before we head down the hallway to the what do you call it? Ceremonial chamber?
I don't. I mean, I have the iron spikes, but if an axe doesn't work, I feel like an iron spike wouldn't do anything either.
All right, I'll proceed then.
So we'll just not engage the snake, hopefully.
Yeah, run. Ready to run. Yeah.
I mean, it could be a matter of getting between the scales, so something piercing might do better, right? Especially now that you know. I think the cub teeth and claws just are too wee.
Yeah, not even long enough, probably. Okay, well, I'll give you a spike just in case. And I'll give...
It's stabby, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say I'll give Asta one, but like, what are you going to do? Carry it around in your mouth or something? When the time comes Just use your mouth, but with a spike in it. Is it possible to use my sewing kit to heal me a bit? Like sew up the wound?
I do allow this from time to time, especially if you have a moment to breathe, and you do right now because of the illusion. I think that buys you some time from the ghoul creatures. And you do have mending, and you do have an appropriate tool. I am into it. If you want to be doing that while they're searching the ritual room, I think that's okay. I'll decide, since you have time, I'm not going to make it a risk roll because you have time to focus on it. So erase your sewing kit and I'll let you do that. But otherwise, I'm going to let the other two search the room. So let's talk about the ritual room. It's as I described, a kind of ovoid shaped room. There's a mosaic of the 9-pointed star on the floor. And above, what's illuminating the space with this white light is there's essentially like a kind of like glowing constellations on the ceiling, right? There's like little either gems or jewels or just something magical up there that's glowing with a white light above the ceiling. It also creates a constellation pattern above. Osto, what do you do?
He'll kind of, tilt his head up and look. And does the constellation mean anything to him? Would it be familiar?
It is not familiar. You do not recognize it. It doesn't look like the night sky of your world.
Then in that case, he'll just start sniffing around.
Take a hunt roll. Corklick, what are you doing in the meantime?
Is there any like furniture, candelabra, anything at all in the room? Is it just the mosaic?
You can make a hunt roll. It's apparently bare though. It doesn't seem like there's much going on in this room as far as like just there's like one purpose. They lay people out and do the chant and then bite them and move them out. So
we'll let Osto do his hunt roll first and then I'll...
Okay. What'd you get, Osto?
I got a 4.
Take your token. You are sniffing around the room, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. You will smell blood. There is a rich scent of old blood and new blood, dried up blood, fresh blood in the room. You'll pick up on it probably better than everyone else will. And you actually do smell a sort of a strange odor on the air coming from one particular part of the chamber, down below, down at your height. What do you do?
Kind of make a little grunting noise, try and get other people's attention and indicate with his nose where it's coming from.
There's a little gap in the wall where the floor meets the wall, a little gap, and that's where that's coming from, that smell.
You say gap like snake tunnel or like
like little crack, like a crack in it's like basically like part of like where the wall meets the floor. There's a crack, like a mouse hole or something. Yeah.
Should I try and chip at it with my mining pick? Like to try and get it open further, or
sure.
You definitely can.
Can you see anything inside if we try to?
Not from the vantage point that you have. Just that there's a smell coming from it, and well, that's all. Lots of Osto knows that, and then
I was about to say, does Corklook even know that? Is it like, what do you see, Osto? What is it?
It just looks like a gap to you.
Well, all right. For our semi-verbal communication, I will, pry at it with my pick and see if it crumbles away easily or anything.
Yeah, you can crumble away enough, and it looks like there's like a pool of water on the other side.
I'll take some of my twine and just kind of feed it in until it gets wet, and then pull it back out and see if it's a pool of blood or actual water, and let Osto sniffify it.
I'll give you that for free. It's water.
Okay. Are we salt or fresh?
Fresh.
Isn't the bear thirsty?
Would the crack now be big enough that Osto could maybe wiggle in?
If you work on it a little bit more, yeah, I think so. You'll be able to get your head in at least. Inside, it is a pool of water, and there are glowing tadpoles in the water, and they are just floating in this water, glowing. What do you do?
Can I reach forward and try and scoop one out with my teeth and
Sure.
drag it out?
Yep, you can. It's a little tadpole in the process of changing into a frog. It glows.
Become the frog.
I don't need to get smaller.
Am I in a position where, I see what Osto's retrieved by pulling this out?
Oh yeah, I mean, assuming Osto kind of like spits it out or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And then because I've got a question that I don't know that I wouldn't know to even ask necessarily, but I'm curious to know now, is there, can I look enough to see, is this like a massive chamber that's out there?
No, it's fairly small. I mean, it's probably it's probably only like maybe 4 or 5 feet wide.
Oh.
Does it look man-made?
No.
Should we scoop up some of these to try and sell them later, in the sense that glowing frogs might be worth something to somebody?
At the mention of the possibility, I think Osto would start retrieving more, spitting them out on the floor.
Does somebody have like a jar or something that they could like put them in? Like put some water in and put some of these in?
I could drop them into the raisin cordial and have glowing raisin amphibian cordial, and that's going to be worth some bucks.
Sounds repellent, but yeah, probably somebody would buy it.
I do have a lead bottle, but I don't think it's retrievable at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
I could pull an air bladder from my backpack. It's my last backpack slot, if that comes to an issue.
You can do that.
Anything else that's more amphibian worthy of holding? Seems like an air bladder would be the best to have a little liquid in there. Let's do it. We'll fill up an air bladder with some glowing
add glowing tadpoles to your found equipment. No intrinsic value, maybe some other kind of value at some point, but Ethelinda, you're all wrapped up. You're all sewn up. You can lower your ruin by 1. What do you do when you're done?
So with the ceiling, with the star chart type stuff, you're saying there's like gems around and stuff?
Yeah, the ceiling is like little gems that glow, which is what makes it look like stars, and also what illuminates the room.
And there's no way that I can perceive to manipulate them
I mean, you can pop them out, but no, they're set where they're set.
Well, I'll pop them out. If they're gems, they're gems, right?
Yeah.
I use my little bow staff. Well, I guess it's a big bow staff, but yeah.
Yeah, if you all take the time to pop the gems out, you totally can. It'll take a minute, but you can pop them all out if you want. Yeah, absolutely.
While Ethelinda's working on that, can I check that the journal with the star drawings that I got from the priests or the acolytes footlocker,
Mhm.
and just, I don't know, quick thumb through to see does anything in the journal match?
No. Every star pattern you've seen, none of them match. They all seem to be different.
Thinking these guys are making this stuff up. Like this is like a cult of people who want to be astronomers but really have no experience whatsoever. So they just draw dots and lines.
Asta will, I think, give his best puppy dog eyes at Ethelinda as she's popping out a gem, kind of like, me too.
I would like a gem as well.
Do you want to hold it in your mouth?
If you can take enough gems, because you probably like break some of them and you're bashing and trying to get them out. But you managed to take enough of them to equal 2 gold total. Glowing gems.
Cool. Okay. I guess there's nothing left to do but to face the music.
All right. I feel like I'm talking up the tadpole thing to some just natural formation that's just weird. Not until we find like there's a long battle standing between the starlight serpent and the glow amphibians that live underneath.
Glowing frogs.
Right. Yeah, there might be another layer to this dungeon where there's glowing frogs beneath it. So I feel like we should backtrack to the sort of hub point.
Yeah. Oh, can I also mess up their little pentagram thing?
I'll just smash up the mosaic of the star. Sure.
Yeah, I'm mad at them.
I mean, that'll just piss them off probably. But like once they do figure out that they can walk through that tunnel. So you're going back to the central junction then? You do that. Everything is as I described before. No sign of the ghoul priests. There is the one corridor that you have not gone down yet and that they didn't go down.
Yeah. Do we want to go to the sacrificial pit or to the other way?
We can take a peek.
At this point, Osto, as you return to the junction, you have returned to the form of a human. It is a young human. You are like in the form. It's like 12-year-old Osto, 11-year-old Osto. So.
Great.
You do have your stuff though. You're a little burdened with it, but
I'll give you half of the gems so you could get
Thank
one.
you.
Now that you can hold them.
Pull out one of the tadpoles. Did you want this back too?
No, that's okay.
I do think while you're in this form, you don't have access to your strength skill. So
Okay.
So you want to check a bestiary, see if we can find anything on ghoul priests or starlight serpents or glowing tadpoles even.
Yeah.
Right.
How to kill starlit serpent. Do a if you're gonna go through Neral's bestiary, do a hunt roll with 2 tokens or with 2 dice.
A 5.
Take your token. Neral does know of this snake. He knows basically what the temple knows of it, or what they believe. It's all rumor. He has never seen the snake himself, and he's only heard rumors that the cult has the snake or has contact with the snake. But you learn that, according to Neral at least, the star priests believe the snake is the living embodiment of Abrasax, their god. They believe it's a manifest, a physical manifestation. According to the legends, the snake came from the heavens, which is why they believe this.
When we saw the snake, did it look any different?
And what as compared to?
Like, is there any indication as to why it's called the starry snake? Like, is it to have weird skin?
Oh, the
or
starlight
anything?
serpent. Well, I mean, the way it's described in Neural's bestiary is it's called that because its mirror-like scales glitter like starlight, I guess.
Okay, but like from our eye, it just looks like a big snake.
It did have glittering mirror-like scales, yeah. And it's very big. Like the head is like the size of the head's like the size of what do I compare it to? The head's like the size of like a grill, you know, like that
very,
size, you
very
know?
Texas comparison.
Right, yeah. Trying to think of something that's roughly that size. Yeah, it's much bigger than a bread box, much smaller than the back of a pickup truck. So somewhere in that range. Somewhere.
Definitely, as a Texan would describe it. I was going to ask, does Neural go into any details about like the only known way to murder this is to stuff glowing tadpoles up each nostril or something?
There's no, he has never seen it. It's barely, this thing is, it's barely a paragraph on this creature. There's almost no information. There's
a weird thing here that I'm going to try and play it as Korkuluk and his skill in myths and antiquarian stuff, but you're talking about a starlight serpent, and in Haitian culture, there is Dambalajuedo and Aidajuedo, and I have sitting on my desk all the various veves that illustrate them. And I'm getting a little bit freaked out here, Jason.
You know, Abrasax will have its way with all of us at some point. So the glowing, the pale yellow star with 9 points. So where are you guys going? Ethelinda, what's your move?
Well, I was thinking the not sacrificial place.
So basically the place that you know that group of ghoul priests is not at, and that you have not been down. Okay. This passage is not short like the one you just went down. This one is actually a series of twisty corridors. They turn and twist, and it's quite big. In every part that's masoned, the snake tunnel with the grates is there. But there's also parts that are natural cavern where that's not the case. And the tunnel might be there, but it's not. There's no grate built into the walls. Very quickly, you realize that this corridor, these twisty tunnels or these twisty passages are crypts, because you periodically run into sarcophagi, small tombs, bodies interred in the walls, like laying horizontally. If you've ever played like Skyrim or Oblivion, you sometimes go to those places where they have the bodies like stacked on top of each other in the walls, right? It's like that. A little unclear, like who is buried here? Maybe it's former members of the cult. Maybe it's something even older. But in any case, we have special rules here. The special rule is searching the crypts. If you take the time to examine the numerous tombs and sarcophagi and bodies, you will find a great deal of valuable treasure, jewels, coins, decorative objects, and more. However, the longer you do so, the more likely that these ghoul creatures or the starlight serpent become aware of your presence and attack. You can each spend a single hunt roll token to acquire treasure equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 gold. You then roll a dark die. If the result is equal to or lower than the number of gold you earned, you get attacked. So You each get to do it once.
What do people think?
And you can each choose a different amount. So
All right, we're choosing the number of gold, right?
Individually, you choose how much do you want to find.
All right, so flat out choosing one is silly because you got a hunt roll. Like you've got a hunt token already, so just convert that.
That's worth one, right? Yeah, you just convert that,
so,
right? Exactly.
So.
That's a misdirect for sure.
Yeah. And so at any point we could also be interrupted and the other person wouldn't be able to spend the token.
Well, I mean, depending on how the fight goes, yeah, for sure. It depends, but
yeah, that would be my thought. The interruption is
yeah,
both no gold and a fight, probably.
Yeah, because we're gonna do them in turn. So
does everybody have enough money?
Honestly, I do. If somebody wants to try it for the sake of trying it, but right now I feel like I've got enough.
Add a lot to your hoard.
I mean, at a player level, like I'm all about like killing my characters, but I have enough money for sure. I've got 1 hunt token, 4 gold, and 5 burdens. So,
and you only have to do half burdens. So
yeah,
so 3.
Yeah, so I've got 2 extra. What about Osto?
I'm covered for my burden, but I'd probably go for more gold.
You could do a small wager, 2, 3. That's a decent chance you don't have to face anything.
But if that serpent comes, we don't know how to fight it, except for me, because I'm smart.
I mean, as long as you have one way of doing it, you can theoretically kill it. So
yeah, and just to confirm, our set goal is to find the entrance to its den, and we have
yes.
Yeah. Right, but it could be just down this way.
Right. Yeah.
And I bet the scales would be worth lots of money too if we did have to fight it. But I guess it would be pretty hard to fight the serpent and all of those 9 ghouly things, right? We'd probably get messed up.
Just
it's not like the dice are with us today.
Says the person whose character's at a ruin of 5 right now. We might get messed up in that fight. Yes.
It's a 4 now.
4.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot you meant it.
Look at my skin sewn up real good.
I mean, if you got some armor, you can take a couple of rounds with whatever you have to face if you have to face one of these things.
We can do that kind of like comparing our jewelry or something. I'll compare my spider mended wrist that Patience Davies fixed for me with spider webs to your own mending skills.
And I'm like a surgeon, baby.
So, Osto, how vigorously are you going to search here? 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think I'll go 2. My hoard is pretty healthy, so
roll a dark die. Just roll. Well, I guess the only way to get a dark die is like combat 1, I guess. Yeah. On the die roller.
That's a
You're
4.
good. You're good. Just add it to your gold stat, but it's just in the fiction. It's like bits of jewelry and things, that you have, and you're 2 gold richer. Corklook, will you be doing any grave robbing?
I feel like I'm going to go a little more cautious. Yeah, I think no right now.
Okay. Ethelinda, any grave robbing for you?
I don't think so. Maybe on the way back I'll hit it.
There is nothing else to do in this area. It's all just crypts and to plunder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then I will hit it.
Otherwise, you go back to the junction.
Yeah.
How much, though?
I'll just do 3.
Okay. Do for the die roller, just do combat 1. If you get 3 or lower, then you're gonna face something.
It's a minor thing.
Dude. You are
Do I
you
get
all
the
staying
money?
very close to each other? I assume you're not like splitting up, really, are you? Okay. You do get money, yeah, you get 3 gold. You are searching around when you hear from the darkness voices bleating at you. Al Zuknal! Al Zuknal! And 3 of these ghoul-like creatures with their stringy black hair and milky white skin and tattered blue robes, they crawl out of the darkness and they have their big talon hands and they're going for it. To fight a group of 3 of them is endurance 9. Each of you describe how you're vulnerable and roll your weak point.
I think I'm surprised. I'm still getting my golds.
Yeah, you're like, ah. Very good.
What?
Roll weak.
I feel like for me, I'm having memories of Hester's Mill, and you know, you guys haven't faced these schools, you don't know what they're like. Kind of
Yeah.
moments of timidity.
Yeah, these are very similar creatures. They're not the exact same creature, but there are a lot of similarities to the yellow humored lurkers. Roll your weak point. And what about you, Osto?
Osto is 12.
Yeah, you are a kid.
He's at a disadvantage.
Fair enough. So what do we got? We got 4, 4, and what's yours, Osto?
4.
4.
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry, 2.
Oh, 2. Yeah. Okay. Combat 3. Ethelinda, take it away.
Okie dokie.
Looking for 9 on 2 dice. There you go. 5, 4, and 3. The folks with 4 are getting hit, but they are defeated. Let's begin the combat. Ethelinda, you're first. Give us some narration. Got 3 of these things to kill.
I think one charges at me, and I sort of like jump out of the way and strike it with my bow staff over the head.
Nice. Love that. And keep it going, Korkaluk.
Oh, are these things kind of frail or strong? I don't know if we've kind of.
I mean, they have a ranginess to them, I guess. They're about the strength of a human, maybe a little more feral. Right?
Okay, so I'm picturing a kind of a fight where the ghoul priest thing sort of like grabs me and drags me along the wall, like down the edges of the crypts, like little pieces chipping off, because I'm taking the ruin rather than using armor right now. And then finally, like, I get my axe blade up and kind of into the throat, like pin it up against a wall, sort of a little tight quarters grapple.
Nice, good. And finish up this combat scene, Osto.
I think Osto is still trying to get his warhammer out, and it's too heavy for him to swing properly. And as the thing rushes him, and I think it kind of pushes him up against the wall, hands around his throat, and he just drops the hammer, grabs his grappling hook, and just shoves it right up under its chin, and
Nice.
Drops back to the ground.
Nice. Osto, do a 9 gold combat or gold dice roll.
Time for the dice to pay back.
Nope,
Oh.
it's not.
Ah,
0.
Also is banned from rolling.
0 dice. 0 gold. These things their robes are shit. Their hair is greasy and disgusting. Their skin is thin and useless. Their eyes are milky and blind. Well, maybe they don't seem blind. And the talons are dull and would not make good jewelry. There's nothing on these creatures worth scavenging.
I named them cheap creeps.
You do get to name them, though. What are we going to call them? They have a name in the incursion, but you get to name them something different if you wish.
Are we going with cheap creeps?
You're like kind of joke name for them, I guess. I don't know if that's the
Maybe
that's not the
maybe just
ecological, zoological name.
maybe just creeps. They won't stereotype them as
Star
all being
creeps.
cheap.
Star creeps has an appeal. I could go for that.
Sure, star creeps.
Somebody make that note on the bestiary whenever you are ready to do so. In the meantime, anything else to do in the crypts? Are we all good? You can examine the area long enough to realize there's nowhere else to go, basically.
Quick question on the bestiary entry. You said we needed a 9. Is that for more than one, or does it matter?
No, 1 is only 7.
I even had Cardi B playing in the background and then no money. Sad.
So, where would we head from here? I mean, you go back to the junction. Hopefully, don't run into the ritual star creeps. Maybe you have not located Professor Lemwicket. You have not located. I mean, you've got plenty of treasure though, so it might be worth just leaving if you just want to tell the dandy, sorry. It's up to you all. What do you do?
And I'll give each of you a gold since it was my fault.
Oh.
Osto will look at the two of you and say, could the guy that got carried out be Professor Limwicket?
Oh.
Totally. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, oh, who's that guy?
We've met the dandy. All right.
Can we rush the star creeps?
We did just
We're
reduce
the
it.
I mean, if you were going to combat them, the whole group of them would be really hard to beat because there's only 3 of you. But I mean, it'd be tough. But I'd say it's a 12 endurance if you want to face them all. You could do that. That's even assuming they're still there. They may have gone somewhere else. So.
Were the 3 from the group that we passed, or were they?
You don't have any way of knowing that, so I'm going to say you don't have any way of knowing that.
The last dying breath of one was like, oh, you saw me before. Should we go then to follow them to see about Limwicket? Maybe they've, left him up on some other kind of ritual device and left him alone if we want to be optimistic.
I could be up for that. I got one other quick question. This massive grate in the center, we've not done that. For me, it's been the 15-foot drop into a pile of dead bones. Like, yeah, I can see treasure, but how deep are you going to sink into that mass?
And I don't have rope, so for me, I was like, well, that's not happening.
Yeah. Oh, Asta, you got a grappling hook. Can you do the claw game and pull up some treasure?
Try to get that leather armor for me.
We could try that. If that's permissible, Asta would begin.
Let's take a 5-minute break and we'll come back and see how we resolve that. So last I heard, you wanted to do a claw game for that leather armor down in the pit. Is that the plan?
I think so.
Okay. Do you have a rope and grappling hook?
I do.
Okay. I think this is great. I like this. What's your plan after you get this? Are you going to continue searching, or are you leaving after this?
I think we should continue searching.
Yeah, I guess my thought was just try to, I don't know, grab what we can here and then go to if you're interested, go to the third core, the one with the scuff.
Yeah.
Scuffed
You
up
can also
area.
spend tokens. Don't forget, if you want to like automatically find the Starlight Serpent's den, if this is a goal you care to achieve, there's always 3 hunt roll tokens as well. So,
Jason, a quick question. I'm assuming that this bone pit is not the den because we're looking into it and we would
this
know.
is not the den. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
No, because you've automatically solved the set goal. No, it's not. I like this as a risk roll. What could go wrong here?
Osto could fall in. Oh wait, I
Yeah.
can't say that.
That's true. I was thinking that though. I think the snake shows up.
Yeah, it's alerted. And it's some kind of trap.
Oh, that'd be interesting too.
Your grappling hook gets stuck. Like, you can't get it back out. So if you want it, you got to go in after it.
Indeed. Let's talk about, you get 1 light die for the equipment. Devil's bargains. No matter what, you have to hide or otherwise deal with some of the star creepers coming out from the direction they went in.
So you haul up this armor with the corpse still in it, but there's a number of baby serpents within that come out and attack.
I was thinking that there's someone half alive down there. And we have to deal with that too. Like the tension of impending doom and saving this person.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, and I was just having an idea of an inverse, which is but I don't quite know where to go with it. Is that the corpse in the armor is somebody we recognize, but I don't know who that would be.
It's my mother.
That'd be kind of horrifying. Just the whole moment would be intriguing. Anyway, interesting choices. What do you think?
I think I like that it's someone we recognize. Or maybe
good.
one of us recognizes.
Yeah, if we're wearing the armor, is this someone you recognize? Or just down there?
I think wearing the armor, yeah.
Okay, so then you will straight away realize you can't lift it out then.
Didn't you say it's only a partial person?
Well, so like they're dead. Is that what you're saying? Like you recognize them, but they're okay. Interesting. Love all that. Okay. Okay. All right. Good. 2 light dice. I don't think you're at dark die yet, so go ahead and just roll 2 light.
Four.
Complication is you hear the snake coming along the snake tunnel, snake track might be going into the pit. If you wish to avoid this, you can add a dark die and try again, or get help. Oh no, you can't get help unless you have a dark die. So.
Yeah, why not? I'll add dark die. That's a 6.
6 light, good. Full success. Go ahead and retrieve the body. Retrieve the remains and the armor. What does it look like?
Osto will kind of shimmy on his stomach over to the edge as the others hold the grate up, and he'll lower the grappling hook down very, very gingerly and just get under like the collar, I think, of where it ends, and then probably with some help, he'd start tugging it up and drag it over the edge and look very pleased with himself.
Yeah, I love that. So now the question is, you recognize this person. Let me look at your conditions, see if there's anything there. If anyone has any ideas, I'm totally open to it.
It's the siren.
I thought that actually, but I was like, maybe, I don't know. I'd like for it to be something connected to Osto if I can.
So we saw being that we thought was Osto's brother on the throne of the
Yes.
Rhyme Palace.
Mhm.
Was that truly your brother or not?
I think it was a projection because Ethelinda saw someone else.
Mhm.
Anybody else from the orphanage?
Alistair?
Mm.
Or he should come back.
Yeah.
He'd be funner alive.
I'm gonna go with. Okay. You pull up the body. It looks like scanning through my archive of all the people you've met. What makes the most sense? It's such a weird place to find a body of someone you know, right? Because allegedly nobody could get down here, right? So it's like, well, who is this? I will say this. It looks like the dandy, but the body is half decayed, but there are parts that look vaguely familiar. Maybe this is Professor Lemwicket. Who knows? Or first person said twin dandies. You could surmise that's Professor Lemwicket, right? But
I think we found him.
The real question is who gets that armor?
It won't fit me.
It won't? Why not? Because you're too big?
He'll
Is
just
that
kind of
what-
indicate he's 12.
Oh, right. I mean, in the future, though, right?
He'll grow into
When I
it.
grow up.
Grow into it.
Maybe in a couple hours.
Or 8 years from now. So good. So yeah, let's just have that scene where you're there. You've got it looks, I mean, it might be Professor Lemwicket. It looks vaguely like the dandy.
We'll take proof of death, I guess. Maybe, does he have any possessions that identify him as such?
No, but it might be enough for the dandy. I mean, it might be that like that's enough to show Bright Teeth that, hey, look, my dad's dead. Like, get off my case. Or it could be worse because maybe then Bright Teeth will make him assume his dad's dead. You know.
Well, maybe the armor will be enough that the dandy will recognize it as proof.
Sure, yeah.
But he doesn't get it. We keep it.
Considering Ethelinda is, I think, the most vulnerable of us, maybe Ethelinda should take it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Go for it.
When you say most vulnerable, what do you mean by that?
No unchecked armor and high ruin. So
Oh, guys, got it. So Ethelinda leaves right now, is what you're saying. Or you could press a little further.
Yeah, we could go to the place that they all went if you want. Do you want to spend tokens too? We have how many tokens? I've got one.
Got 3.
So we've
One.
got, and we all have pretty good money. Do we want to discover the lair?
Yes and no. I just wish I knew a little more of how to
Kill it?
defeat the serpent, or
so are we at the end of the passage that we were wandering down?
You're
No,
back in
we're
the
back at
central
the hub
junction.
now. Back
Yeah,
at the hub.
yeah.
So I'm game for exploring more. I like exploring.
Sure. Yeah, we could.
Right.
Well, I say we could always spend tokens later, but not necessarily the way that we're rolling. Hunting is getting more risky each time. But so we'll go
Should
follow
I
them.
convert one or two of my hunt tokens to gold? You know, like fish some extra loot out of the
Sure.
bone pit.
Yeah, you could do that. Absolutely. How many do you want to convert?
Let's convert 2.
You will find a few things. Probably not even down in the pit necessarily. They might just be like kind of tucked in a dark corner up here somewhere. But you find a bangle bracelet. The bangles are shaped like planets. Planets you recognize. Semi-precious stones worth 1 gold. And you also find a ceremonial blade. The metal has been treated to have a yellow tinge to it. It's also worth 1 gold.
The serpent's weakness.
Oh. The color yellow or yellow?
Well, I mean, probably not, but you could try it.
Oh.
Sounds like you're leaning towards continuing the search.
I think so.
You can safely find the Starlight Serpent Den by spending the tokens. You have not yet done the in-fiction thing necessary to find it.
Do we want to find it first, or do we want to go down that path that they went down with the ritual dude?
I'd say let's go down the path.
Sure.
That works.
If we lose tokens now, we can hunt later.
You head down this passage. This is a short one, just like the first one as well. And it leads to an open doorway, on the other side of which is a chamber that we'll call here at the table the Chamber of Stillness. It is an enormous, inky black void, punctuated by stars all around, a little galaxy in miniature. The room is extremely cold, and you see floating in this inky black void, punctuated by starlight, is what appears to be star priests. Unclear if they're alive or dead, but they're in various stages of transformation, from star priest to star creeper. Some of them, they're all just floating there. Some of them have skin that is sort of like halfway between the color. Some have their hair kind of partially grown out, or talons beginning to sprout from their fingers. But there's a number of them, probably a couple dozen, just floating. You can see that from the doorway. Osto, what do you do?
Do these stars mean anything to him, or is it again?
These don't appear to be any particular pattern. They're just like, it's an aesthetic to look like a little universe.
I think he'll take a step into the room.
You float in the room. You instantly begin to float gently. What do you do? This like horrifying version of that scene from Willy Wonka when Charlie and Grandpa Joe are floating in the chamber, except it's pitch black and there are bodies all around. Where do you float?
I think he'll actually just reach his hand back and grab onto the edge of the door and just try not to get too far away. And then hand his rope to Ethelinda and don't let me go.
I'll try not to. Oh, maybe I can use an iron spike to secure it to the wall.
Sure, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, we have that for free. What are you doing in the meantime, Korkuluk?
wanted to ask, is there a flat floor, or is this just like there's nothing underneath? Like
It
are the stars?
doesn't look like it. Just looks like a void.
I almost feel like we're at the edge of a universe, like we're not that Corkland necessarily knows what outer space is, but we're stepping into outer space. Like this is no longer the normal plane. Do we see any exits?
Pick a hunt roll.
Are artifacts or myths or obfuscation any use?
Artifacts, well, obfuscation, yeah, because there might be something hidden. This might be this might be an illusion of some sort, right? I mean, it's almost certainly. I mean, I guess it could literally be like outer space, but that would be really weird.
I made a 4 for the roll.
Take your token. You don't see any. You don't see any exits just by looking around. Nothing appears to be hidden like that. It really, truly does look like a vast, inky void. You will notice, however, that above, sort of from where you're oriented anyway, above, you see the serpent, the glittering serpent, seems to be flying overhead. Its body is very, just to give you a good sense of it, it's very long, probably about 20 feet or so, maybe more. At its thickest point, it's like as thick as a tree trunk, a good sized tree trunk. And it's just weaving back and forth above these floating bodies in the inky void.
So 2 questions. One, did we just find the den? Did we just achieve the set goal? And second,
did not.
Osto, do you want to be reeled in? like how close is this to Osto? Is it?
I mean, not far. I mean, but the snake doesn't seem to be focused on Osto by any means. And no, you did not find the den.
Do we see any sign of the man who was bitten?
Yes. He is floating in this space, just there, least transformed of everybody there.
But he is transforming.
You can assume so, but it looks like everybody else is in the middle of that. He probably will be at some point.
Is it possible with this tether that we could like walk up a wall as we're floating?
You can float up, yeah. The concept of a wall here is maybe not super salient.
But like, yeah. Okay. So I was thinking we could maybe use the wall as grounding to fight the snake or something instead of just being like, oh.
I mean, if you want to get up and if you want to float up and search for a wall or something like that, try to figure out what the structure of this place is better, you can certainly do that. But you're not going to see anything from just looking. So
we do have those of us who are out in there. You've got some motility. You can decide I'm going over there. And
yes, yeah. Osto is able to like control where he floats. Yeah.
Okay.
I say we set a trap.
I really don't want to be bait.
Well, I was thinking probably my deer musk, which I have 2 uses left, might be flammable, and we could rip up the rags from the star priests and coat it with some, and then just like burn it and use it as like, fireballs or something.
Well, if we do that, could Osto maybe try and grab the bitten man while the flaming fireballs are going around, reel him in?
What is the plan here? To throw Molotov cocktails into the void so that they do
targets. A distraction, I guess, so we can get to the man. But also maybe burn alive the snake.
Do we need a distraction to get to the man? Or
No, he's fairly close because he was just interred there. So.
Oh, I thought they were like around him.
Oh no. The ones, the Star Creepers that brought him here they're not anywhere. These are all just people who have been through that ritual and who are
and those
currently
are transforming. They're all kind of not conscious, right? Or they seem to be not conscious.
They're like in a fugue state, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, maybe we don't need one and we can just fireball the serpent then.
Assuming that the floating properties of the space apply to everything, this bomb will just gently float up in that direction. It may not have the velocity and volatility you imagine going into this.
Okay, how about this? How about we set them as traps around the entrance that we're at and alert the serpent so that it comes for us, and then we set it on fire when it tries to come through.
An intriguing idea.
All right, so in a way, we don't know if we need to fight or can fight this serpent. Like our cycle is to find its den, and then presumably something after that, right?
Yeah, the den's another set. So
I'm sure we would be able to kill it. And when else will we have this plan, this brilliant plan?
It's a nutty plan. I feel like thus far our combats, not combats, some of our activities are carnival themed, like the whack-a-mole of the snake coming out, the crane game, and now we're about to try skee ball.
Very slow skee ball. Well, Osto, you're in the space and you're floating around. What are you doing while you're in there?
I think operating under the assumption that the bitten man was not put in there willingly, I think he's going to try and reach for him if he's not so far, while keeping an eye on the snake and try and pull him in.
You can do that. You can do that for free. I don't even need a roll. You can pull him out, then what?
Investigate. Is he revivable? Is he?
Now make a hunt roll. The snake never leaves its sort of high above, sort of floating around position.
And does it notice when this guy is
Doesn't seem to.
Touched or whatever, grabbed? Okay.
I don't think I have anything except maybe my skill in transformation. Maybe I can apply that to what's going on here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I like that. If anybody would know such things, you would, naturally speaking, instinctively.
2 3s. 3, yeah.
You are all in the corridor just outside this Chamber of Stillness. You are checking out the body, trying to figure out what's going on with the body, what's happening. The body appears to be, it's almost like comatose, like it's not, there's no responsiveness at all, but he's alive. So you see a group of Star Creepers approaching from the hub. They're fully aware of you. They are coming in your direction. There are just 4 of them, but that's still we're still at endurance 9 with 4 of them. And they are just, they're loping towards you. And they are bleating out the same words that they bleated before. Al-Zuknai! Al-Zuknai! Except it's 4 voices in unison as they clamor towards you. Describe how you're each vulnerable and make a weak roll.
Osto can't wield his hammer effectively with his preteen arms.
think I think I'm intimidated and freaked out by them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar in that, like, I feel backed up against this low gravity void. Not super interested in being forced into that if we have to retreat.
Indeed. Yeah, it's your only way to go at this point if you don't somehow charge through them and run. So we got 2 5s and a 4 as far as weak points go. Corkluck, do the honors. Combat 3. Well, you win. The person who has 4, though, takes 2 ruin. I don't know who that is, but
Sorry to hit all the weak points.
you hit all the weak points. So 5, 4 to 4. Everyone's taking at least 1 ruin. The person who has 4, which I think is Osto, is taking 2 ruin. But let's have the fight. You do win. Kick it off, Osto.
One of the creepers comes up and just like bodily lifts Osto off his feet and throws him into a wall. And luckily his breastplate absorbs most of it, but it leaves him pretty dazed.
Indeed. Keep it going, Ethelinda.
I think one charges and underestimates how tall I am. And I lean back and put up my foot and just smash kick them right in the face, sending them reeling.
Nice. Corkluck.
All right. I'm going to defend with that point of armor here, which is my powdered wig that was a gift from Patience Davies. And when this sort of star ghoul, what do we call him? Star creeper? Is that right? Star creep? When the star creep, like, like grabs and just shreds that wig off, I just kind of go into a love-stricken rage. And I'm like, you have no idea the value of that wig. That was a present. And I just like gain this unusual strength for myself and grab him and swing him kind of like halfway out into the void, holding onto his ankle, and splat his head against the lip of the
threshold. Yeah, that's good. There's still a couple alive. Finish them off, Osto.
One of them rushes toward Osto as he's trying to pick himself up, and Osto comes back again with his handy grappling hook in lieu of a proper weapon, and just catches him in the temple, and just drops him.
Finish the last one off, Ethelinda.
I come out of my cool kick and use my my bow staff from bottom to top to crack them in the side and crush their ribs.
Nice. They are dead. Osto, have another go at the gold dice.
Not Osto.
9 gold dice.
2.
There you go. That's 2. You each can, or you get two salvageable parts from these creatures. Decide what they are and add them to your gear. Whoever's taking them.
I'm at 3 gold, so I'll leave that to. Oh, Ethelinda's at 5 gold.
Yeah, I got money.
Corkluck and I will share the boon.
You each marked that I shared the 3 with you too, right? From the that passageway.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the priests had, I think, just a tiny little pendant that probably got missed in the transformation, and it's nothing too fancy.
Nice. Is it a 9-pointed star pendant?
It is.
Okay. Nice. 1 gold. What'd you take, Corkluck?
I'm gonna play into the insanity of their made-up star constellations. One of them had tattooed star constellations, and I'm gonna just like sort of shred off that weird, gross chunk of flesh that's got some nice tattoos on it that somebody's gonna want.
So yeah, there's a story. It's like you have a story that goes with it, right? It's like,
Right.
never believe where I got this. 1 gold, worth 1 gold. How's everyone doing on Ruin?
I went up 1, but I have my armor. I just didn't, in case we do fight the serpent, I didn't want to spend it on just 1, just in case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're at
I'm at-
5.
I'm at 4 ruin, 1 armor.
3 ruin, 1 armor.
What's next?
Did we successfully get the bitten guy's body out?
You do have him. Yeah, he's out there. Yeah.
But he's
Is
all
he
comatose.
coherent?
No, he's comatose, or like he's just like blank staring, like a coma or like a fugue state. He's not responsive.
And he's basically naked, right?
Yes.
They didn't reclothe him after they bit him or something.
No. You can see the wounds, the 9 wounds.
Osto's gonna smack him in the face.
Nothing happens.
And darn.
Just to confirm now, since we've killed some of these star creeps, do they have like essentially scars that match?
Yes.
Everybody has the same bites.
Yes, these were all people who underwent the ritual at some point.
Okay.
Oh no, he's gonna be a star creep.
But it might take a while though, because there's a bunch of like some that are in the middle of the transformation floating around. It looks like a slow process. So
And it might not happen anymore since we've removed him.
I don't know.
You said there were almost 24 of them floating in here. If we harvest all of them and murder them all, do we get to roll 24 gold dice?
No. Because you have to do a combat. That's the rule.
So where are we with Bob Plaid? Do we want to
I will
go?
tell you that you don't see the snake up above anymore.
Ah, lost our chance to bomb it, guys.
Sorry about that. I was not super confident of it working anyway, but
Well, I was thinking better this than in its lair, right?
At least presumably in its lair, there's gravity.
Well, we would be at the corridor where there is gravity and it would be coming towards us. And then I would blow it up or whatever.
Yeah, it sounded like the plan was to basically like melee a trap, right? And then ignite it. But this all assumes that you could get the snake to come down there. It never made a move from where it was at the whole time you were, even when Asta was floating around and dragging bodies, right?
What we could do is follow it, like go up there and try to follow it into the lair.
That's an idea.
yeah, that sounds intriguing. And then if we catch it in a tunnel, ideally we're at its tail.
And
Ideally,
if we use the rope and an iron spike, we can keep the rope where we need it to get out.
yeah, I already pinned it.
Yeah,
With
he's
the
already, yeah,
spike.
that's already set up. So to reel
Are
yourself
you saying to
back
pin
in.
the other end, Drew, so that we got like a zip line almost?
Yeah.
Whoever wants to, I mean, I like this. So you're all just gonna, are you all going or?
I'm down.
Okay. So you're gonna float up, keeping a hand on the rope in case you need to pull yourselves in. You're floating up in the direction of where the snake went, and you eventually hit something hard. Boop. And you realize that the ceiling of this place, it does have a ceiling, is a thick piece of glass. And you're looking into a space above you, and it was just the snake crawling around in that space.
Oh, it was crawling around above us.
Yes, it looked like it was flying, but it was actually just crawling
Right.
above you. It's a very thick piece of glass, like 8 or 9 inches.
Can I grope around looking for some kind of entry?
Do a hunt roll. You can take 2 dice since you're using the tether.
Six.
Take your token. No, it's perfectly sealed up. Just a big, thick piece of glass. That's the floor of maybe the den. I mean,
I'll spend a token to find something else.
okay. Let me take a look at the list here. Huh. Floating around in the darkness, perhaps it floated off the head of one of these people at some point. There is a silver crown with decorated with nine pointed stars.
I wear the shit out of it.
Yeah. It's actually worth 2 gold, so you got lucky. Got a good one.
Excellent.
Are we overlooking that to drop into that 15-foot bone pit? There were some holes in the side. Going through one of those gets us into the serpent den, right? Or sorry, that was meant to be a question, not a.
Well, so okay, so you're floated up in this chamber of stillness, and you're looking into a space above you. Seems like the snake was just crawling around up there.
Yeah.
The light is not great, so I'm not going to tell you what you can see beyond just realizing that's what was going on. The detritus pit back at the hub did have tunnel entrances, so the snake has access to it. It's maybe not a bad idea that following the tunnels will eventually take you to the serpent den.
But it sort of sounds like a bad idea too. more like a conclusion.
You get it for free if you spend the tokens. So
yeah. My other question is, do we need to backtrack all the way to the main temple? Is there another way? Like, is this underneath the main?
You're all still, yeah, you're still totally underneath the temple. Yeah, all of this.
So it's thick glass above us, but Osto's skilled in destruction.
Yes, that's true. Do you want to break it?
Do we have iron spikes left?
Yeah, I have 3.
We have an iron spike and a mallet and a skill in destruction.
So you create some pressure points or whatever to make it structurally unsound, and then bust it open, like shatter the whole thing, or just create a space for you to get in.
That could be shattering the whole thing. Could be something going wrong.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, what's the goal? Is the goal to get inside, to get on the other side of it?
Yes.
And I could possibly attune myself to it to do weak points.
Oh yeah, that's a fun use for like a help, if justify help die for sure. I think this is a cool plan. I don't think it's a risk roll because there's no danger. There's nothing here. There's nothing. The snake is not around. There's nothing following you in this space. Given the skills that you've described, the both of you, and the tools that you're using, I think you'll just be able to do this if you spend the time to do it. So, yeah. Describe it.
Osto will explain his plan and point out a couple places to start, and then they'll maybe tossing the spike between each other. They'll hammer out a couple little weak points as Ethelinda attunes the glass, and then Osto takes a hammer and closes his eyes and just smacks it.
It cracks in such a way as so that enough of it crumbles away. It's not windshield glass. It doesn't all shatter like into 1,000 pieces. But you're able to crack enough of it open to worm your way up and get on the other side of it, standing on it.
That's a good thing.
So there is gravity up there?
Yes, there's gravity up there.
Okay. I'm really surprised that worked.
This is also a new set.
Is this the layer?
It is. Starlight Serpent Den. Sekal satisfied. Set goal. Acquire the Starlight Serpent's egg.
Okay, that sounds like something we spent tokens on.
You are there. Here's what you see. It's a perfectly spherical room, bisected by a floor made of thick glass. The bottom half is the Chamber of Stillness. The top half is the lair of the serpent. Beneath the glass, of course, you already know, is an inky void swirling with stars, a galaxy in miniature. Another way to access this place is via the snake tunnel. There are grates in this. There's a single grate in the ceiling of this spherical room. Presumably the snake crawls up the wall and goes up that grate to go around the tunnel. You could have come that way as well. You'd be dropping down into the room if you did that. There is floating in the center of the room a glowing nest made of starlight. It looks like a Milky Way, but it's a nest. And nestled inside of it is an egg that is, it's large, like a, size of a bread box, and it's like a mirror egg nestled in this swirling Milky Way nest. It's floating in the middle of the room, pretty high up. Not super obvious how you'd get up to get it, apart from just, I don't know, maybe use your intuition or spend 3 tokens. So those are your options.
I'd say token. If ever there was a time for tokens.
And the serpent's not currently visible?
It's not currently in the room, no.
It probably was all like, it saw us and then it went up in the grate, and now it's like going the long way to come get us, and we were like, what? And then we got it. Maybe it can't even fit through the hole that we made in the bottom, so then it has to go all the way back around to be able to see us. In the States, they call this the Mississippi mislead. So do we want to spend tokens? I think we should.
I think I'm up for it.
And how big is it
Yeah.
exactly? Like
The
a
egg?
person? Yeah.
It's like a bread box, like about a big. It's
Okay.
big, but big for an egg, but totally portable.
Sounds like we're strapping it to Osto.
who's in the form of a child? Corklick's doing all the heavy lifting in this group right now.
How else will he get big and strong?
Really deep in
so we're spending tokens. Is that the plan?
I'm willing to. I have 1.
Same, I have 1.
I certainly could. I have 2, so.
Tokens are spent.
Yeah. All right.
We have to figure out how this works in the fiction. How are you getting this egg? It's floating in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
I'm open to any idea. It will work because you spent the tokens, whatever you come up with.
Toss out one idea, literally tossing, that whoever is the lightest and weakest of us at this moment, which might be Ethelinda, it might be Osto, I don't know.
Might be Osto, yeah.
The other 2 of us take one of these pre-strobes and stretch it up between us and kind of do that gradual trampoline thing where you
heave you up and then you grab it.
Right, exactly. Eventually you go up there and
this will work. So who's being trampolined right now?
I think it's Osto.
Yeah, I think
light off.
it would look better if it was a movie or TV show, if it was Osto.
So you eventually get him up just enough. It's not super high up, so this will work. It's maybe like 20 feet or so. You throw him up, Osto. You grab the egg. It comes down with you, and you have it. Now what?
Leaving time.
Do I come down covered in star stuff?
Maybe, yeah, but not. It's like maybe you have like a kind of a like like
Am I
if-
glittering?
Yeah,
is
you're
the question.
glittering, or like if you like have like day glow paint on, and you know you're under a blue light, you have kind of like little dots all over.
A snake rave.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it cold up there in the same way it was cold below, or is this whole chamber cold, both top half and bottom
The
half?
whole chamber's cold. Yeah.
All right, so not apparently like a normal reptile that would go dormant and cold.
Yeah, according to Neurals, it came from space.
So my fireball plan would have messed it up.
Right, and that's good. You kind of got me thinking that, like, maybe as we go out, it's everybody with a lit torch in their hand.
And if we go down, presumably we would just float once we jump down again.
You can float back down.
And we've got our little tether.
You got your tether, yeah, so you can pull down.
So should we? I think we just leave, right? I think we just came here to find Len Wicket.
Well, that's a good question. We just achieved this set goal. Is there another set opening up, or
the only other sets are there are 2 other sets, but you don't have access to them right now.
Okay,
they're in the other part of the dungeon. If you'd gone the other way,
so I feel like backpedaling, and
you go back. You are going back to the junction, back to the hub. You get to the hub, and like something out of Conan, the Starlight Serpent busts up from the grate. The grate flies open. The serpent rises up. Its whole body is inside of the central chamber. It rears back, opens up its mouth, hisses. You notice that your torchlight is being drawn into its scales. Like you see the light literally moving and going into the scales, and the scales sort of do a gradient glowing thing. And we'll pick this up next time. Stars and wishes.
A lot of stars.
Yes, indeed. Stars and wishes, stars are things you enjoyed. Wishes are things you hope to see next time. Who needs to go first?
Stars for me, I thought we had a lot of fun little character moments between the wacky things that were going on. It was a lot of fun. Not that it's ever not fun, but it was a lot of fun today. Wishes. I'm kind of hoping that the body we found wasn't Professor Lemwicket.
My star is I enjoyed I just enjoyed you all sort of navigating the space, making decisions about what to do. It was just such a classic dungeon crawl feel. I wrote this to be a classic dungeon crawl feel, but with lots of like sort of puzzle elements that are not literal puzzles, but like things that you have to kind of consider and think about and how you want to interact with them. And that all came out really, really great. Loved all that. And I loved all the bear cub stuff. That was really, really fun. I had a good time. This was really, really fun, really enjoyable. My wish is, this monster's hard. It might fuck you guys up really bad. I hope the characters survive. I kind of know you may not. So my wish is that you survive, because I like these characters. I want to see them live, but death is always on the table, and it's really on the table right now when we get back next week. So yeah, those are mine.
And I thought that there's always like a lot of cool problem solving that we do that's like really creative in a way that I just haven't seen with like any other game. Like you get all this random stuff and I'm like, I'm gonna make a fireball and
it's fun. I enjoyed watching everybody throw out ideas of like how to handle things. It's like, what should I do about this? What should we do about this? Like, it was fun. It was a very much like a environmental exploration, and that was really, enjoyable. So.
And Wish, I kind of want to see if we can hold this little egg hostage against the snake.
That's an idea. Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I guess this is sort of a start just for the overall narrative. I was reaching the point where I was convinced that this is a crackpot cult society that they just don't know astronomy. They're just bad at it. And then we hit that room with the void, and I thought they actually had found a way to reach space. Like this is really it. And was afraid we were gonna just like, I don't know, step out and freeze to death and drift away or whatever. So it's kind of melted my brain a little bit. And I'm honestly blown away. These photocopies with the serpent. Like, did you, Jason, was this based on the Haitian sort of theology?
No. This incursion came. So I think maybe the only person here who might know this is Fraser. So in my old podcast, Discern Realities, which is about Dungeon World, we did like a little 1v1 AP, and me and the other host. And this was the first adventure. They went into the Temple of the Peerless Star. It's not exactly like how it played out for you all, but it was a little more rudimentary back then. But they encountered the Starlit Serpent right away, and it killed the character. It killed the character of the AP. So like we're like 6 episodes in, and the character's dead. And so we had to switch to a new character. And at the time, for the people who loved the show, it was a big deal. People were like, "Oh my God, he's dead!" And in fact, the armor, if you had searched the armor if the armor had not been this person who looks like Lemwicket, the armor is the armor of that character that died in that AP. Yeah, it's like it's embroidered on the inside. But I changed that since the Devil's Bargain made it something different. But no, I've always, I don't know, something. It was inspired by Conan. Conan was the inspiration, and like sort of pulp adventure, because like the idea of a big giant snake is a very like pulp sort of thing, right? And I don't know, I just thought it was a snake.
Okay.
A star snake was cool.
It's weird and intriguing for me in that these copies, I made these in 1990. And
well, so the thing is, I've read The Serpent of the Rainbow, right?
Yeah.
And so it could have been just like somewhere in the back of my brain, like subconsciously that affected it, but I didn't intentionally make that.
Yeah. Well, here's the peculiar part for me is like I copied these in 1990. I was a student at the University of Kansas, which is Center for Haitian Studies. They've been hanging on the wall of my studio pretty much ever since. And when I don't know if it's okay to say this, but Trophies hired me to do some illustrations for the Kickstarter thing. I pulled these down with the thought of like, all right, I'm going to work some of these into the ritual designs,
cool.
and it is laced full of serpents and stars. It's
great.
Everywhere.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's great. Yeah, it's super.
So I started wondering if that was
synchronicity.
Yeah, synchronicity. Good. And wishes. I second Drew's wish that I kind of hope that was not Professor Lemwicket.
Yeah, I'm open to it. I'll make a decision when we come back.
Why do people not want it to be Lemwicket?
So that he has something more interesting to do than
I think that I know where you guys are coming from with that. It's like because it kind of like ends the Dandy's story basically, and not for good probably. Right. Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, great fun. Super great session. I love a good old dungeon crawl sometimes, and this was really enjoyable. And there's so many more there's a lot of multitudes to this dungeon that you all have kind of seen a little bit of. Like I said last time, it's so different if you come in through the front. If you come in through the front, the experience of the dungeon is totally different. And it's kind of fun to see the two different kind of ways. Like things that you have hints of right now are much more obvious if you go the other way, right? So theoretically, there's nothing to stop you guys from coming back at another time, just going in through the front and getting a star blessing or something, But okay, awesome. I want to stop this and